This flick does take place actually right before Avengers Age of Ultron, but it's in a galaxy for the first time in the MCU, far, far, far away. And no, that's not a Star Wars reference. I don't even know if I can legally say that. But I will tell you this, if there was ever a MCU Star Wars crossover, I'd be into it. And now that it's all under Disney, who knows, one day. But no, this is the sleeper, folks. This is the movie that should have never, ever worked. It's the movie where Marvel said, I bet we could pull our D-line characters out of the basement and make a hit movie out of it. And they did. We are talking about the 2014 hit Guardians of the Galaxy. Real quick, before we do our gut check, as we always have, and see when everybody's seen it, when's the last time we talked about it, this movie stars Chris Pratt as Star-Lord or Peter Quill, Zoe Saldana as Gamora, Dave Bautista as Drax, the Destroyer, our Fast and Family daddy Vin Diesel as Groot, and Bradley Cooper as Rocket Raccoon. Are you kidding me? This cast is unbelievable. James Gunn knocks it out of the park, and I rewatching this 3 days ago. Oh my gosh, what a treat. I had so much fun. It's getting higher and higher as I watch it. It's like a sweet wine, like just getting better over the years. And I loved it. Can't wait to talk about the story real quick with you guys. Let's start with you, PC Mike. When's the last time you've seen this movie, and what are your feelings toward this movie?
It's within the last year. I didn't rewatch it recently, but it is one of the Marvel movies that I've seen the most because I do think it's so refreshing and it's so fun. And the characters I absolutely love. I love the secondary characters in this too. Mm-hmm. I don't even want to call them secondary characters like Drax and Rocket and Groot. Awesome top to bottom, and it works. Like, you don't think it's going to work. You said it perfect. Marvel was like, oh, let's try this. Throw it against the wall. Well, guess what? It made $772 million.
$772 million. It only cost $232. It made the bank. People went and saw this movie. Well said. Giggler, when did you see this last? And where's this one sitting for you? How does this one make you feel when you revisit it?
Oh yeah. This is I watched this about a month ago on TV. This one's like always on TV, which is fine.
Yeah.
I love when all these movies are on because it's like it's either Guys Grocery Games or an MCU movie that's on at any given time. So that's what
that's a win-win for you.
My wife loves all that.
Hey, can we split screen this real quick?
Both
that's why we have two TVs. But yeah, this is definitely probably in the top, near the top 10. I can't tell you right now if it's in the top 10, but it's close.
All right.
It's close up there for sure. And it's just so good. Like you said, they just pulled these characters that hardly any of us even probably knew. I guarantee 95% of people that are MCU fans now didn't know what the Guardians were before this movie.
Yeah, that's me.
And it might have been higher. It might be higher than 95.
No, I agree.
Oh, I mean,
you got to be like a big comic book fan for that,
yes.
for sure. And like, I guess there's been other versions of the Guardians in the past that they've kind of teased that from in future movies. So that's kind of cool, like little tribute to them. But I love it. Like, there's times where I forget that Vin Diesel and Bradley Cooper are the voices of those two characters.
Oh yeah,
and that's just another reason why it just makes it so great. Like, Drax is maybe one of the best characters in all of the MCU because he's hilarious.
Hard agree.
Yeah, his timing is hilarious.
Yeah.
He's impeccable. He's you find yourself laughing at every scene he's in.
And as a wrestling fan, of course, I'm gonna gravitate to him versus anyone else.
Yeah, like I said, should have never worked. Imagine the pitch meeting for this movie where you're like, Bradley Cooper's gonna voice this raccoon. Like,
Vin Diesel is a tree.
And literally just saying, I am Groot, the whole movie. And apparently, I mean, we've all seen the footage at this point. It's been years of him saying, I am Groot, based on what his line would be. So they would tell him, like, oh, your line is, we got to get out of here. And he'd be like, I am Groot. And it's just Vin Diesel just saying it over and over and over. I love that.
Wasn't Vin Diesel also like the Iron Giant?
Oh, really? You might be slipping in a fun fact here.
Vin Diesel's a DJ now. You should look up his song on Spotify.
Is it pretty good?
Great. I like it.
Oh man, Vin Diesel's doing it all, huh?
He really is.
And he's got F9 coming around the corner, which we're going to be talking about.
That's fine.
Yeah, of course.
We'll have to have Mikey guest.
Yeah, we'll have Mikey
guest
back on. That's
for
right.
Sure.
All right, we got
so Vin Diesel is the Iron Giant in the Iron Giant.
Are you
the
serious?
1999 movie. Yeah, I knew he was something like that.
And guess what? And this is not a spoiler. In an episode of Ted Lasso, that someone's watching the Iron Giant on the TV. I just saw that yesterday.
Whoa.
Vin Diesel.
Vin Diesel.
Vin Diesel.
Thank you, Vin.
When I think of voice actors, I think of Mark Hamill,
Oh my gosh.
Kevin Conroy, and then, of course, Vin Diesel.
He's making bank, that's for sure. All right, spoiler alert right now, Guardians of the Galaxy. We're going to break down of the story very quickly. Also, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Soft spoiler alert for Guardians of the Galaxy 2 a little bit, Infinity War, as well as Endgame, because we're just going to do some connections. So if you're trying to really move your way through the MCU, just be advised. I'll do my best to give you a warning. Did our gut check. So, all right, what happens in this one? Let's talk about it. Let's give it a quick rating so it can live in our new MCU library. We can get up there. So in this movie, we meet Peter Quill, played by Chris Pratt. This is a regular 1988 boy from, that's right, Missouri. Give it up. We have made it into the MCU, folks. I like it. And it's a young boy. He is actually at a hospital. His mother dies. And right after this happens, he's sucked up into space by this guy named Yondu, presumably kidnapped. And then 26 years later, we have a full-grown Peter Quill. And he's on Morag looking for the Power Stone. I was like, which stone is it? They call it the orb in the movie. It's the purple little orb. And the guy that's looking for this, there's a lot of people looking for the Space Stone. This is great. I mean, this is going to be timed right around Age of Ultron. We're starting to hear more about these Infinity Stones. And we're seeing that, like, across the galaxy, people are starting to look for these things. Who? All right, well, the big bad of this movie is Ronan. He's a blue guy. He's part of the Kree people, and he's working for Thanos. Just say it now. Thanos is in this movie.
Yep.
So, like, this big bad guy that you've been getting teased out in all these other films, like Thor and the Avengers. I mean, he's in this movie, not like in credit scene. He's in the middle of the film, and Ronan is helping Thanos get this stone. And Thanos' two daughters, Gamora, played by Zoe Saldana. She's like one of the leads, and then Karen Gillan plays Nebula. These are the people that are helping out Ronan. They're Thanos' adopted daughters.
End credit scene was Thanos of Ultron. Don't forget that.
It was.
That was, I'll do it myself.
And he said, I'll do it myself.
Oh, man.
Which I always thought was wild because I was like, so he was just like watching that play out?
Yeah.
Or did he like plant some seed for like Ultron to exist? Like, did he pull on a string of the Mind Stone to like make that? Because like he knew all about it. It is the end credit scene. He grabs the gauntlet and he's like, I'll do it myself. And I was like, what? Are you just watching?
Damn. I
Right?
never really thought about
Because he's not
that.
even in that movie.
I just get so excited that that scene, and then I don't really think about the actual repercussions of it until down the ride.
I've always thought about that though. Fans, let us know if you know, because I've always wondered that. I'm like, did he play a role in Age of Ultron? Did he do something there?
Huh.
So this movie, Guardians of the Galaxy, since it does take place in space, it's one of the first MCU movies, the first MCU movie that does this, like besides Thor, which like really only goes to like two places. They go to Asgard and then the Frost place. This place is going all over the place. First location is Xandar. This is like a really rich city, and this is where all the Guardians of the Galaxy will meet. So you meet Groot and Rocket on this planet. They're like thieves / bounty hunters. There's a bounty out on Peter's head because Peter didn't deliver this stone to Yondu, tries to sell it to a broker. The guy won't take it. And then Gamora is there to get the stone as well. This is where they all get kidnapped and they get taken to a space prison called the Clean. It's Klyn. Never ever have said that right, probably. The Klyn. We'll call it the Klyn. And this is the meet the team scene that you got in the promo whenever they're doing like the piece by piece. Like, this is Star-Lord. He's a Earth. He's blah, blah, blah. Giggler, this is something I caught in my rewatch, and this is really messed up because I bought like every MCU movie right when it came out. There's a scene where there's a plot hole with Gamora's backstory. Do you remember this? Where I'm going with this?
I think so.
And it says, whenever they're describing all the characters, they say, this is Gamora, adopted daughter of Thanos. She's from this planet, sole survivor of this planet.
She's a soul survivor.
Yeah, I wish they would have played that song.
I mean, it does have a bomb-ass soundtrack for this movie, but...
Oh, one of the best.
Oh,
That's
I mean, why do you think I did a music show?
Did you do the music show
I did.
because of this?
It was definitely like I think it was like one of the first episodes
Yeah,
I did,
it was
and I
too.
did volume 2.
That's an easy easy.
Oh,
one.
it was. Yeah, I didn't have to do a lot of work on those because every song's a hit. But here's the plot hole. Spoiler alert here for Avengers: Infinity War. But Gamora, her planet is not dead. Remember, Thanos kills half, and then they prosper. And it was this big plot hole. All right, I've always noticed this line. I've always been like, oh man, that sucks. It's not in the movie anymore.
They took it out?
It's literally gone. And I bought it on iTunes right when it came out, so it was there. But I have a digital copy.
They changed your digital copy?
I am telling you that I believe the digital copy of My Guardians of the Galaxy, they snipped that part out. I backed it up 10 times and watched it. And I was like, I know this movie.
I'm gonna watch it again.
You have to at least watch that scene. Yes.
Okay.
So it's the scene where they're the space people. John C. Reilly's in this movie.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
clutch.
on the wiki kind of like going through it. And I'm like, yeah.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
amazing.
He's in there. He's part of the Xandarian fleet. You also have Glenn Close playing Nova Prime.
They have a lot of like random actors doing small little bit pieces as well.
There are so many. Feel free to read some if you see any cool ones.
Seth Green as Howard the Duck.
Oh, yeah. That's the in-credit scene.
Rob Zombie as Ravager Navigator.
Wow, one of the Ravengers. Okay.
Stan Lee is in here.
Yeah, forget what. You know what? I forget what cameo he does in this one. I just watched it too.
As a
Got you.
Exandrian ladies man.
Oh, okay. At like probably like on Nowhere or something. Whenever they're like in the gambling place.
Trying to
well,
see if anyone else is big in here.
No, for sure.
but,
Let us know if you see any other big names. I definitely want to point out the plot hole. And listeners, if you know what I'm talking about, like this was discussed on forums and stuff. It was big online. Like right after Infinity War came out, there's this big thing of like Gamora's backstory, and Thanos, did the same thing he did everywhere. He killed half the people. He took Gamora with her. But like in this movie, it was like, well, didn't they say she's the sole survivor? It was a big thing. So I'm curious to see if anybody else has experienced this. Disney, if you're listening, you better explain yourself.
Yeah, please.
Next, go ahead, Mike.
I'm just still shook if they got into your iTunes and like snipped it.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's a digital copy, so I guess they could, but like that'd be messed up. All right.
Yeah, we gotta do some dives on this.
Moving deeper, getting towards about the middle here. The Guardians take the Power Stone to the Collector. So that's played by Benicio del Toro. The last time we saw this character, he's the guy on Nowhere, which, by the way, Nowhere is the head of a celestial being where people are living and gambling and like mining the bone marrow and juices from the giant its head. Do you remember this? And I'm also always thinking like, well, who was that celestial being? And is it like a comic book guy we should be aware of? Like, is it like related to Galactus at all? Because he's the only guy I know that'd be that big.
We're about to find out a lot more about Celestials.
Yeah, and like, oh yes, we are with Eternals, and we've learned a lot with Ego and Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Oh man!
All right, so the last time we saw the Collector was in Thor: The Dark World. This is when Thor's friends brought the Reality Stone to him. So this is kind of cool. In this scene where the Guardians bring him the Power Stone, 2 Infinity Stones were in this guy's place for about 10 minutes. He had the Reality Stone from Thor: The Dark World, then he had this one. But then his assistant like touches it, she blows up, they leave. Long story short, Drax calls Ronan to like fight him on this Nowhere place. So Ronan gets the Power Stone. Peter saves Gamora, and then the Guardians team up with the Ravengers to take on Ronan, which will take place back on Nova, or Xandar, where the Nova fleet live. We get an epic battle scene, comes down to Ronan basically losing this Power Stone. Peter gets a hold of it, but like humans aren't really supposed to be able to hold this thing. And I'm telling you guys, I get chills on this part. When he is holding that Infinity Stone, and then all the Guardians like hold hands, the music is pumping, and then they like pull it together to where they're not like hurting anymore. I was like getting goosebumps. I'm getting goosebumps right now talking about it.
You throw on that jacket.
I should have wore it for this episode.
You really
I
should
should just put it on, I
Yeah.
guess. No, it's right here. If you're looking on YouTube,
I got something. Put it on. I'll kill a little time.
All right, go ahead. Please go ahead.
I hate it when people call goosebumps goose pimples.
Oh, that's not what they're called.
I know it's not, but some people call them. I got goose pimples. I'm like, I hate that. Oh, there it is.
How's this look?
Oh,
Sharp.
yes.
Hey, I'm not Peter Quill. It's me, Logan. Actually, I was kind of cold.
It is a little
It's
chilly.
a little chilly down here. I'm sorry, guys.
You're welcome for the suggestion.
Sometimes it's hot. Sometimes it's cold.
Life.
Still trying to. Yeah, that's right. Katy Perry said it
Hey,
first.
and also we all have T-shirts on. We usually have like
a sweater.
or
Yeah,
something.
we're like adjusting to this new weather that we're having
Yeah.
this week in Missouri.
And this is exactly what St. Louis people do. It's 60 degrees one time, and you're like, shorts. You're like, I'm wearing shorts now.
Yep.
It's not even cold outside.
It's not even cold anymore. All right, so this is definitely some big foreshadowing to Guardians of the Galaxy 2, him holding this Infinity Stone. It is the foreshadowing of his lineage, which I'll keep that as spoiler-free as I can, but that you learn all about that in the next movie. And the Guardians win. They destroy Ronan with the Infinity Stone, and the only thing that sucks out of this is that Big Groot sacrifices himself to save the team, but it's okay because Baby Groot.
And then we get Teen Groot.
Yeah, playing the game. That's an Infinity War.
Are you giving me back talk?
Baby Groot's one of the best things that happened in my life. So
Oh,
it's
so
like,
great. That opening sequence of Guardians 2, which, I mean, we're going to be talking about it so soon.
Yes.
So great.
I found the Stan Lee cameo. Looked it up.
What was it again? He said it was like a ladies' man thing. But
Yeah. Rocket Raccoon views him flirting with a lady. I think it was on Xandar like earlier in the movie.
I thought they were playing craps. Like craps on that Nowhere thing. But I really don't remember.
That might be the second one.
I know. And like,
Yeah,
and then the one in Age of Ultron, he's at a party too. He's at the Avengers party. So
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
like, am I mixing all these up?
And just to tease it out, we probably are going to rank these Stan Lee cameos.
You threw that out
probably this
last week.
summer.
I literally just found that in an article of 60 of his cameos. So there's our reference point right there.
60?
Hey, we'll just put it on this.
Next year it's already done.
We could seed those ourselves. We could just go down the line.
Yeah. Oh, that's fun. I like that idea.
All right, so the Guardians get their shit back. This is where I get my favorite line in the whole movie. It's not even from one of the Guardians. It's John C. Reilly, and he's talking to them, and he's like, "All right, guys, you got your shit back. Your records are clean. Just don't break any laws." And they're like asking if they can, which laws they can break. And Drax is like, "What if I want to slit someone's throat?"
That is good.
And John C. Reilly goes, "Well, that's murder. That's one of the worst crimes. So yeah, I'd have to arrest you every time." And then these guys take off. So yeah, we get the end credit scene. Credits roll. Baby Groot is alive. He's dancing in the pot, aggravating Drax. And then, like Mike pointed out, end credit scene 2 didn't really do anything for the story, but it's just a weird little shot of Howard the Duck with the Collector. They're having like a cocktail. Man, oh man, what a film! So much fun. We'll get some ratings here and stuff. Let's go ahead and do a round table. Andy, any other top moments that I missed that you can think of? Give us your overall thoughts on the film. Feel free to throw in your rating if you're ready.
Okay. Yeah, I'd say soundtrack, one of the best parts about this.
Yes.
Like music during that time period is just great. Like oldies, so many good oldies in that. Like I think I might on my way home, I'm gonna throw down that music show episode.
You
for
should.
sure.
You get to hear. I mean, you
Thanks
get to hear
to-
the bangers.
Yeah, I think that's probably the one that got Creme de la podcast on your tail there.
I probably
Dang
would.
it, Creme de la creator. Sorry,
I'm not kidding. Like we've had a lot of downloads, but that one had thousands of downloads.
I believe it.
Like
a lot of people are
thousands.
probably looking for that soundtrack, maybe seeing that and being like, "Oh, what's this?"
Yeah, if you're listening right now, just go to Spotify, type in Guardians of the Galaxy. You're gonna find most of the superheroes in the music show.
Oh yeah, that's a good call. But yeah, I just like I said earlier, I just love this movie. It's so funny. The action is great. It's like kind of like a small like change of pace of what we've seen prior. Like this is one of the bigger like intros into like the space world that we kind of see. Like obviously the whole MCU prior to this is not like it's believable. Like you can't believe that there's really a Hulk or Iron Man and Thor and all that stuff.
Speak for yourself. I'm like, this is the news.
Okay.
I know what you mean, though. It's like the new introduction to everything else.
Yeah, it just like opens up like so many windows, and like think where we are now. Like there's literally going to be even more of this with the Eternals, and we're going into like multiverses. Like what this whole MCU like spans. Like MCU stands for like Marvel Cinematic Universe, and like that's like you think of that as like universes and like a grouping of movies and shows, but like it's literally like a freaking universe that is.
They should call it it should be the MCM, the Marvel Cinematic Multiverse.
I wonder if they'll do a play on that someday. That's pretty crazy.
Trademark.
Trademark, write it
Yeah.
down. This is almost
Yeah.
superheroes copyright 2021. we gotta buy that website right now.
Yeah. That's like Man Crush Monday. That's not a good acronym.
These listeners are like, man, these guys are just always trying to get rich. Like, we're just like, we gotta scam these guys now. Our favorite
Yeah.
stuff. All right, how about a rating?
Rating. That's a good call. I'm gonna go with a 3.3.
Nice. That's a solid.
That's
score.
I think that's like a go-to rating for like a movie that's in that like top middle tier of these 23 plus movies that are in the MCU.
Here's what I like the 4-point scale. Have you guys been? I like it. Like I feel like it just comes. What you don't?
I go back and forth.
What do you think the alternative is? Is it like
I think it's a 10-point scale because I equivalent.
Man, you're really saying this on air right now.
I
too.
know, but I equivalent it.
We're gonna think about this now.
I equivalent it to grades in my mind. Like that's just how it does. Like a 9.5 is an A.
Yeah, but what about 4?
But then I'd have to do the math.
But
I
like,
know what an A is in my mind.
Did you not go to college?
I
know you did. I get that. You got the
Your
hat
mom
on.
goes to college.
You got the hat on too.
I know that is funny because like 3.3, that's a B plus. That doesn't sound like it's great.
Here's the thing.
But-
I don't think I can change it now. We've done so
I
many.
know. I don't think. you
Well,
can.
that's what the other day. So I'm gonna start going back and compiling my ratings because I don't want to.
Oh yeah,
I don't want to.
It's on my list to like document all 3 of ours
have
for
a discrepancy
everything.
where I say, especially now that we're doing this, I don't want to rate 2 movies like against each other.
I
And
know,
then pick
but I
the
also
different one.
like the more raw rating and not like thinking what did I rate that. It should be like more in the moment. I feel
That's
like.
true. You're right.
And if there was only one place that I could go to find old ratings of the
Yes.
MCU,
Mostly superheroes.com /MCU.
Your view count's gonna go up by about 35 tonight when I figure out all my ratings.
I'm gonna see a big spike in the website traffic. Like that's got to be Andy.
3 a.m. Who's on at 3 a.m.? Like you're just going through it.
All right, PC Mike. I know you haven't seen it in a while, but I can tell you liked it. I think you'd be comfortable giving us a rating. And any thoughts you got?
For sure. I did find one tidbit, which
Please.
this interests me. In 2017, Guardians of the Galaxy was featured as one of the 100 greatest films of all time by Empire Magazine's poll of 100 greatest movies. At the time, it was the highest MCU on the list.
Wow.
Film on the list.
I'll
So
give
that's
it
pretty
that.
cool.
Yeah. What was that list? What was the list?
Empire Magazine's 100 greatest movies.
Okay, awesome.
As we take a break and go through, I'll kind of look at the list and kind of give you some notable things,
Yeah.
if I can find it. I love the movie. I think it's one of my favorite MCU movies because I like the comedy. I think it kind of breaks it up. I think it's different than everything else. I'm going to go a little higher than Andy. I'm going to go 3.4.
Oh my gosh. Wow. How's that make you feel, Andy?
Fine. Raw. Just like you said it.
I mean, it pumps me up when he rates them high
Because-
because I'm just like this guy. I feel like I was always talking to him about MCU stuff growing up.
Because
and-
I used to, like last week, we were all 3.3. And in my mind, when Andy said that, I was like, I can't do that again.
you like
3.35.
Yeah.
you like had trouble sleeping.
Yeah. I was like, did we really?
That's
do
something
that?
we haven't thought about. Is if like if we could add a level of decimal to it. So if you wanted to do
Why
like a
not?
3.52, you could make it start doing like a
We can
3-digit.
We can get crazy.
We'll think about it.
I think that's how Dave Portnoy does his pizza reviews, doesn't he?
He does a
Go down to-
10-point
His is
scale.
10.
And don't go back.
His
Oh.
is 10.
Well, Marscale's better. So.
I like the 4.0. It's working for me. It's like almost. I like that it's more simplified because with a 10, I really got to think about it. It's like
Well,
know
I mean-
what, that 3 threshold. That's easy for me to kind of identify and be like, okay, it's definitely over a 3.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then if I end up in the 2s, then I start working backwards and be like, shit, is this a 1?
Well, they do the stars.
They do stars. There's a 4-star for
4-star.
people. There's 5-star for people. So it's like stars.
Yeah.
So maybe it's not a number. We just need to come up with like the
The-
superhero or
Literally, I think the only issue that I've found is that we usually only talk about movies that we love. So like,
That's true
We
too.
haven't-
They should be high.
we're not gonna probably not talk about many movies where we're like gonna give it in the 1s and 2s.
I mean, Iron Man was a 2.7.
Well, some, yeah, some, but like we haven't got it down into that 1. Like, what's a 1?
Well, the goal is really not to though. We should want to watch some good stuff. But
Yeah.
either way, solid rating.
So the Empire Magazine 100 greatest movies of all time from
Uh-huh.
2017. Do you want me to do like a quick top 5 of what they had?
Sure, go ahead.
The Godfather was number 1. The Empire Strikes Back was 2.
That's in our tournament.
Dark Knight was 3.
In our tournament.
Shawshank Redemption 4.
In our tournament.
Pulp Fiction 5.
Did that make it?
No.
Ooh, it could have.
Goodfellas 6.
That's in there.
Raiders of the Lost Ark 7.
That's in there. Man, we could have just gone from this list.
Jaws.
Okay, that's
Jaws, is a pretty good one.
Jaws is a good one.
A New Hope. And then this is kind of
That's in there.
This is kind of a big omission from us. The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring. So some Lord of the Rings movies.
I would have taken it. I would have swapped it out for one of our last minute entries. I watched Lord of the Rings recently. I was underwhelmed.
Yeah.
I thought. Go ahead.
I hate to do it. Back to the Future's 11. So back to
The first
Future's-
one?
Yeah.
Well, 2's in the tournament because I picked my favorite.
I think Mac's in there too.
Yeah, where's Borat in this
Yeah, I
top
think you're
100? That was my
Aliens,
my number one pick.
Fight Club's up here.
All right, let's
Jurassic Park.
let's-
This is a fun list.
it's a fun list, and I'm very proud of like our list because
Oh,
ours
we
came
didn't even
from-
look at this.
We didn't look at anything. Ours all came from our heads, us talking about it, and from the fans. So
Terminator 2.
well done to you guys, listeners. Our bracket looks sick. It's at mostlysuperheroes.com/mostlymadness. Wrapping up Guardians of the Galaxy. Go ahead, Mike. One last
34
thing.
on this list. Guardians of the Galaxy.
I thought you said it was. This is a different. This is a.
No, this is the list. They were top 100.
Oh, they
but
were top 100.
but they are 34th on the list.
All right. Well, damn, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I didn't think
because
it'd be that
MCU stuff, it's like tougher to get onto these kinds of
for sure.
lists. All right. For me, let's go ahead and give it a rating. Well, first up, a couple other big connections. We already said this, but this is the Thanos story, first of all. So, if you're watching the other Avenger movies and you're getting to the point where you start hearing more about Thanos, again, he's in this movie. So much so that you'll see some characters that were in the Avengers movie from 2012. Remember when Loki would chat with Thanos' minions up on that planet? They're in this. Ronan does the same thing. He's talking to those people. And then here's my overall thoughts. So I love it. I said this earlier. This movie should have never worked. We talked about this whenever Imran from Jock and Nerd came on here, but this many actors with this big a budget, it should have been a disaster, but it's not. It does just fine. And I think they do it by tucking in these little moments with the characters, like Peter Quill going back for that cassette player in the prison.
Yep.
Drax gambling, getting drunk, and having fun. There's a moment where Groot is literally just off on his own, and he gives a flower to a little girl. That stuff's just tucked all throughout this movie to where you're holy cow, I feel for these characters. I'm getting to know them. It's action-packed. It's unapologetically the movie it is. Totally heartfelt. I'm going to give it a rating. It's a 3.6. Yeah, I'm just nerding out right now. I really, really love it. Wearing the jacket right now.
I'd give that jacket a 4.0.
Oh, man, this is solid. This thing.
It's cool.
I've worn it. I've worn the Peter Quill outfit too many times. But the jacket, you got to.
Oh, yeah, Halloween.
That's
Forgot about
right. And Comic-Con, Wizard World in St. Louis, of course.
I was just wearing a Spider-Man mask the whole time, so I didn't get a good look at it.
Yeah. God, the Halloween special. Yeah, if you want to see us dressed up in these outfits, go check it out. I was actually a zombie version of Star-Lord, if you guys remember. Had the makeup on. All right, so that's Guardians of the Galaxy. Like Mike was saying, we got the brand new MCU rewatch page happening. The next one on our list is the last movie of Phase 2. It is Ant-Man, starring Paul Rudd. And then next up will be Captain America Civil War, the first one of Phase 3, already in Phase 3, and Doctor Strange. And I think it's going to be great visiting this stuff along with just seeing WandaVision, which we're about to talk about, and Falcon and Winter Soldier. Loki is right after Falcon and Winter Soldier. There's going to be ties, I'm sure, from Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness. So lots to connect, lots to talk about. We're using the hashtag MCU Rewatch, and it's all happening at mostlysuperheroes.com/MCU. All right, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we are talking about Phase 4 of the MCU, WandaVision, the season finale. We'll be right back.